Shark Typhoon, sure. For 0. And we win. Easy as that. GG. Hello YouTube, welcome to MTGA, and today we are going to have a look at Oswald Fiddlebender in Historic Brawl. This deck aims to win by playing Oswald on turn 2, upgrading a 3 CMC Mana Rock on turn 3 into a 4-drop, and on turn 4 you sacrifice the 4-drop into a Paradox Engine and just go for the win. The win is achieved by having 4 CMC and Mana Rocks on the table, so like in total 4 mana, basically, when you tap your rocks. And then you have an Ancestral Statue. And from there on out, you basically go neutral in mana. And this allows you to then put up your rocks into other rocks that go higher and higher and higher in CMC. Finally ending in a Gilded Lotus, and now you're going in positive in mana. And then you can start upgrading one of your cheaper rocks again into an Aetherflux Reservoir and kill them. I've already made a deck, Decklist video on this specific deck, and I decided to upgrade it because it is, again, one of my absolute favorite combo decks, and it has pretty nice matchups in the queue. Going from 100 to 100 cards didn't really hurt the consistency, and now we have more 3MC Mana Rocks, so I feel like this is just a great time to bring this back. We also got some nice additions recently with cards like Curse of Silence or Esper Sentinel, because what the big impactful changes that are happening to this deck when a new set releases are A, do we change our combo, which is most likely not happening too soon, and B, do we have either redundancy or new stuff for interaction on turn 1, because on turn 2 we're most likely playing Oswald, on turn 3 we're upgrading, in turn 4 we're winning, so we can only squeeze in things on turn 1 that are meaningful and help us get there if we go for the fast win, that is. So cards like Leather Armor are the perfect example that we can play on turn 1 and then just slap it onto the Oswald and make him a bit more resilient. Cards like Esper Sentinel and Curse of Silence help with that as well, because Esper Sentinel allows us to draw additional cards while we drop it on turn 1. It's also an artifact. And Curse of Silence also hinders that game plan a lot, which I really like. One card to watch out for here is Grafdigger's Cage, because if we have Grafdigger's Cage, we can't fetch Ancestral Statue out of the deck, and we can't play cards from the top with Mystic Forge. So why is it in here? There are a lot of decks that get really hosed by this, and the big thing here is we can grab it when we sacrifice like a Blinkmoth Nexus or a Treasure Vault, and while we are comboing off, it's quite easy to just sacrifice this to get a 2-drop, and then we can combo off anyways. Like, it doesn't really stop our combo potential too much, but the ability to fetch it out when we really need it is really strong. So we're also playing this kind of hate beer plan that has good answers if we so desire. Like, we have removal on 2 with artifacts, we have removal on 3 with artifacts, with Transmogrifying Wand and something like that, so we can just go for removal as well. And we have very resilient lines, including Workshop Assistant, looping cards from the graveyard with Scrap Trawler and whatnot. There is an infinite mana combo in this deck as well, and that is Sculpting Steel, Gilded Lotus, Paradox Engine, and Scrap Trawler with the Oswald. So what happens is we copy the Gilded Lotus with a Sculpting Steel. Now we have 2 Gilded Lotus, we float them for mana, and what now happens now is we sacrifice the Sculpting Steel Lotus to Oswald. We fail to fight most of the time, we only have 1 6-drop, right? And then goes to the graveyard. Scrap Trawler sees a 5 mana card going to the graveyard, so we can grab something of 4 mana or less, and that is the Sculpting Steel, getting it back to the hand, now playing it, now floating the mana, now sacrificing it, looping it over and over and over, and now we have infinite mana, which is pretty cool. But we most likely don't go for that combo line anyways. Yeah, other than that, we have a bunch of filler cards, so we need to have a critical mass of artifacts. Like, literally half of our decks is going to be artifacts, and we have a lot of these like 2-mana draw cards, which are really not optimal for the deck. We just play them because we just need a high quantity of cheap artifacts, and those are like the best ones to play in that case. Like, the only draw artifact that I would really play at 2 CMC is Ichor Wellspring, because actually sometimes you do go for that card. because it allows you to go for value-based plays where you play it and then sacrifice it, allowing you to draw 2 cards in the process, which is really good. Yeah. This is the overview of the deck. I hope you will enjoy the gameplay, and if you do, please like and subscribe, and let's go. We are ready to play against Muldrotha Gravetide, and let's see. Yeah, this is kind of a non-hand. We don't have the 3-drop, we have Aetherflux in hand, which we also really want to avoid. It's like, it's not optimal for sure, so, yep. Oh, they're playing Garuda? Only even costed, huh? Let's see. Yeah, we mulligan now, and I think this is a fine keep on the draw. Ooh, we even have a 1-drop. Would you look at that? We obviously want to draw 1 more land here. Like, the deck functions decently well if we only have 3 lands. We do need to draw the 3rd one though. If we don't, that's fine. I think I'm fine with not cracking the Hope here. Yep. Beautiful. And now, let's see, what do I go for? This is one of the cases where I think I will go for could go for a card drop to guarantee the land drop here, or like not guarantee but go lightly for the land drop. I could also go Arcane Signet, but that wouldn't allow me to do too much else with my mana. I think I'd like to try to get the land drop here. And boom, we got the land drop. Damn, we're good. So now we have to decide, do we want to keep up the Sheltering Light or not? I think I'm fine just playing the drawbridge here. Again, we combo off when we have something for 4 mana on the field and then crack it to get a Paradox Engine. But just like this is not how we combo off. We do combo off next turn though. So what happens now is we are going for the Manalith. We hold our Sheltering Light as well. No, cancel. We want to float this mana. Now do this. And we get the Firemind Vessel. It's usually better to get the Vessel over the Hedron Archive, because Archive comes into play untapped, and then you fetch it out of the deck in your combo turn untapped, and then you can use that mana immediately. And holding cards in hand is actually quite decent, because then you can play them while the Paradox Engine is out on the field. So if they can't remove our cards, we are going to win now. They are discarding, sure. So how this is going to play out, we sacrifice this. Nice. We go for a Paradox Engine. We float. We now play Mana Rock. Perfect. We now float mana for white. We sacrifice the Ichor Wellspring into a Mana Rock. Yep. And we're taking an untapped any color Mana Rock, and that is going to be our Arcane Signet. Oh no, it's for 3, right? Yeah, it's 3, so that doesn't matter too much. Sure. So now we play another rock. And we float again. And we can now sacrifice our rocks and go up and up and up the ladder. So we go Hedron Archive, and then we go Broadback, get more rocks. Yep. We sacrifice this. And now we get an Ancestral Statue, and what happens now is the Ancestral Statue infinitely bounces, producing infinite mana. And we now sacrifice a 3 into a 4, and that 4 is going to be Reservoir. So now we have infinite mana, we have infinite life gain, and thus infinite damage. Beautiful. And that's how you win with Oswald Fiddlebender. I think the deck is pretty cool. One of the better combo decks. In tournaments you don't see the deck too often because everybody is tagged against Kinnan, and the decks that kill Kinnan also kill Oswald because both they're basically equipped to deal with a 2 CMC 2/2, and that's exactly what Oswald is as well. Anyways, you see, GG. We are ready to play against Tezzeret the Schemer. Yes, Tezzeret the Schemer, okay. So this is also a cool hand to keep, because any hand you keep with Mystic Forge when you're in a control matchup is pretty good. Because the thing is that you could just, like, if you just resolve a Mystic Forge, you can just sometimes win without Oswald on the field if you, like, Mystic Forge into a Paradox Engine and then just combo off from there, right? So this is tricky, because I kind of want to have the Broadback open, but Oswald uses white and Broadback uses double white, so having the colorless is kind of a detriment, but putting it out now, I have 3 lands. If I only had like 2 lands, or yeah, if I had 2 lands, I would play Zalfran Void here on 1, because then I really want to like hit my land drops. But like this, I already have 3 lands, I have the Altar of the Pantheon, I have most of the things I want, so I'm just going to hold the Void. I think there is nothing better than a... No, if I get a like 2 mana protection spell... Ooh, that's a Curse of Silence, which I don't think I need, because I'm actually not that scared of like... Yeah. Again, well, the thing is that card is removal, so maybe I should have went for the Curse of Silence. But again, I'm also looking to combo them out here with a Mystic Forge if it's necessary. Sure, let's go with Altar of the Pantheon and sacrifice it. Nice. And we go for the win next turn, so yep, Firemind's Vessel. Nice. And sometimes you go for the Hedron Archive over the Vessel if you're like trying to play a Signet and then have a 1 mana protection spell up, right? Those are like plays that you can certainly do here. So let's see where this takes us, right? They remove Oswald. Okay, return to hand, that is fine. So I believe, so I could go for the Oswald here. I kind of want to keep the Traveler's Amulet in hand for what's it called? For a Paradox play. Currently want to Fateful Absence their commander. I think that's pretty tempting. But honestly, that's not even needed. Okay. Because if I do that in response to the minus, then like they have more artifacts actually. So yeah, let's just ramp. The downside to this is that I now don't have Broadback, but I feel like if they had a kill spell, they would have killed Oswald immediately instead of just unsubstantiating it, right? So that's why I feel like I'm incentivized to just play Oswald here. And then if they... Yeah, if they play 1 mana artifact and minus Oswald here, that is actually not too bad. Because then I play Oswald again and then I have Broadback protection up. But yeah, this is okay. Yeah, okay, and we have lethal. Nice. Good game. So let's go for the good old classic again. So sacrifice Firemind's Vessel, right? And we go for Paradox Engine. So now we float our mana and we go for a... I feel like I want to go for the Mystic Forge. And then I want to sacrifice it. So now I sacrifice it into a Gilded Lotus. And now I have 4 mana up. So with that in mind, I can go for Sleeper Dart, untap. So now I sacrifice the Sleeper Dart, and I can copy the Gilded Lotus. Now I have 6 mana in my artifacts. And then I can upgrade the Heraldic Banner and go into Statue. Yep, and we have lethal again. GG. We are ready to play against Tiny Bones. And this should be a tricky one. I like keeping the space on the Selfless Savior. Opponent goes first. Can discard the cage to the Tiny Bones. Scrap Trawler should also give me plenty of value here. Yeah. I think we go for a more value-oriented game plan. I'm for sure keeping this because Selfless Savior is just amazing as a turn 1 play here. Ooh, now I'm just not doing anything. I'm going to counter their Tiny Bones. Would you look at that? That's beautiful. So now the question becomes, do I even play Oswald here? And I think the answer might be no. Then I just go with the Gold Neck. Now I go with Fiddlebender plus Savior next turn. And I would have played this over the Alg, obviously, but I didn't have the, you know? That's not how it works. Discard 2 cards. I don't need the cage and I don't need the Nexus, I think? Yeah. Yep, that's fine. So now we go into Savior. Oswald. Yep, your go, opponent. And damn, if I didn't discard the land, that was maybe a mistake. Oh well. Okay. I for sure want to upgrade something here, and it's going to be the Gold Neck. Now we could go for a Transmogrifying Wand and kill their Tiny Bones again, which I kind of like. Could go for a line where I go with the 3-drop and then go with the Scrap Trawler, which I am also not against. This is for sure tricky. Yeah, I like getting the Mana Geode for the Scry. Yep, that's a land on top. And now I protect my board with the Selfless Savior, and next turn I should start getting some real value here. Yep. Protect you. And now they destroyed in response. Sure. Yep. And now we Signet Oswald again? Yeah, sure. Signet Oswald it is. No attacks. That's fine. We can just play Oswald again. Ooh, I'm tempted. Yeah, let's just go with the Oswald, and if they can't remove the Oswald again, I'm just going to play the kicked Skyclave Relic. Yeah, sure. Another removal on Oswald. That's fine. Yep, I discard 2. Workshop Assist is in the graveyard. That is a problem. Kinda. Relic. Leather armor. So it can't get discarded. And if I can't discard, that's pretty good for us. Okay, oh boy, oh boy. This is awful for us because I don't know... Okay, that's a Mox Amber, but if they could have just taken the Paradox incidentally, right? Oh, that's so good for us. We can't use it though. Funny. Okay. Opponent, do you have more removal? If you don't... Ooh, yeah, they really don't like Oswald. Okay, Scrap Trawler returns something else. And that something else is going to be, I believe, it's either Gold Neck or Coldsteel Heart. Mana versus draw. So how much does Oswald cost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I kind of can't play Oswald next turn anyways. Unless I top deck a land. Yeah, let's go with the mana then. Like, if I think if there was a Paradox Engine, they would have grabbed it already. Okay. I think I don't need to shelter anymore. Land? Nope. Yep, go with this. You. Land. Mana. Last turn. They go with Tiny Bones, sure, and they swing in for 2. That's fine. So... Oswald. Leather armor. No attacks. This was a matchup where, like, the Mystic Forge is a really, really good card. Ah, man, Portable Hole. They got our own interaction, basically. Yep, sure. Man. What a line of play. So now I'm kind of at the mercy of my top decks. Another land would be nice. Oh no, I'm dead. Oops. Ah, that was such a close game. Yeah, the Gonti just grabbing my own removal out of the deck there was truly brutal. Otherwise I would have gotten this game. So the way I would have won this game is not necessarily through Paradox. I would have immediately potted a 3 to a Mystic Forge to break out of this draw 1 card, play 1 card pattern. And then the next step would have been an Aetherflux to gain the life. And yeah, that's the way I would have won this game. GG. We are ready to play against Toxrill the Corrosive. And another control matchups, which are usually my bad matchups. This, however, has probably played this as land, Coldsteel Heart, turn 2, turn 3, play Oswald with protection. Seems good. I have a lot of protection for my commander here, so I don't need to play the... Like, I value having the land more here. Could now go for the Oswald, though. Could go for the Oswald. What do I think? Do I have more counterspell or a kill spell? I think... Like, I can just get it under counterspells now, so I probably take the opportunity and then they play a Mana Rock, hopefully. Oh yes, beautiful. Absolutely magnificent. Good globe. Yep. Oh, that's... Yeah, let's go. Go for untapped 3 CMC rock, so I can play the Ephemerate. They so decide to remove something, and usually the 3 mana mana rock that you go for is Mana Geode, because it also allows you to scry 1 immediately, right? Hedron Archive, we don't want that in our hand. We want to be able to fetch that out of their deck. Like the Gilded Lotus in our hand right now, but that's kind of fun. Like, the worst card to draw in this deck is Paradox Engine. Okay, they have Graveyard Hate. Kind of fine with that. Like, I have some recursion lines, and doesn't mean that we can't deal with it anyways, right? So now we do that. Yep, nice. And they immediately surrender. Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. We are ready to play against Xanathar. And yeah, Mystic Forge and Mana Rocks is kind of the exact hand we want in this matchup. I kind of want to play Oswald on 2 and then fully expect to get it killed. Because they're already mulliganing for removal, they already mold twice, right? So... Like, the Mystic Forge is the card I really want to throw out in this matchup and have it stick on the board. If they go turn 1 removal, or like, I mean hand disruption, that could be quite annoying. I'm not going to play the Mox Amber here. Because they could have Spell Pierce or something like that. Founding Conundrum, okay, I don't care. Protection spell would be nice. Nope, that's not a protection spell. Okay, let's throw out Oswald. Can actually pot up a 3 next turn with the help of Amber plus... Let's see. So the question is, do they have Spell Pierce? They don't. Okay. So now the question becomes, could go. I think I like going for the full mana play. This Altar of the Pantheon and then pot it up, and then we threaten lethal next turn. But we still just have a lot of mana in play anyways to go with our Forge. This is one of the cases where I'm considering playing the Archive because that will allow me to play the Wellspring immediately to draw a card. But I think this is fine. So they remove Oswald, I presume, turning off our Mox Amber mana. If they just go like Mana Rock here, they are dead. But yeah, okay. We go for Pyrox. If they Tails End this, then I'm going to be sad. Nope, they don't. So now we follow it up with a... Pretty considering what Mana Rock I play. Could also Sculpting Skill for 2 mana. Could do this for a bunch, right? Yeah, I think doing this for 6, that is what I really like here. Because that leaves me with 3 mana again. Yep, beautiful. So now we pod you up into a statue. And I assume that they counter the statue. Which is actually fine, we can combo through that. So Ichor Wellspring untaps our things again. We now... I'm holding this right now. We pop this up into a 3. Draw a card again. And again, I assume that they will counter our Ancestral Statue here. So what I'm now going to do, I'm just grabbing a bit more mana here. I think I like the... Yeah, sure, Letter of Acceptance. Allows me to draw a card later. And now let's get this Ancestral Statue countered. Right? Oh, they don't counter it. Interesting. So now we go into a beautiful 4. And that 4 is going to be Aetherflux. So note that if they now remove Aetherflux in response, I should have had Letha here. Like, what you do in this case, if you think they have like removal for Aetherflux, is you bounce this 25 times or like whatever. Like, then you build up your stone count and then you fetch out Aetherflux and they can't stop the... Like, if they now... I get 1 Aetherflux trigger when it's on the field because I get priority first and I cast a card. And with that Aetherflux trigger, you can get like 100 triggers if you played your Ancestral Statue 100 times earlier. So that I should have went with the Ancestral Statue step and just generated infinite mana on that step and infinite storm count as well. And that would have been the perfectly correct line of play if you want to be precise, right? Sure, let's end this. Aetherflux. Shark Typhoon, sure. For 0. And we win. Easy as that. GG. We are done with the games. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. And yeah, this is Oswald Fiddlebender in Historic Brawl. A truly, truly consistent combo deck that exists in a sea of control and good stuff decks. So I really like the deck because it's fairly consistent and also super resilient. Like the Tiny Bones game, if they didn't have like removal spell number 5 for Oswald, back to back to back to back, I might add, I would have easily won that game if I just got to just untap once more and get Mystic Forge and just get value from there, right? So that was actually a super close game. This video is a bit of a shorter one, or like was a bit of a shorter one, because I felt like I showed you enough of the deck, and also MTG Arena was down, so I'm recording this like, let me check. Yeah, the video needs to be uploaded in like under 1.5 hours now, so I don't have much time. Anyways, if you want to build this deck on a budget, what do you cut? What can you craft? The most important things in this deck, and I sort by order of importance, is first and foremost, you need all the cards I'm regularly comboing off with, and that is basically all the 3 CMC rocks that tap for white that you can just get with your wildcards, the Paradox, the Lotus, and all the 4-drops. Like, these are all mandatory for the deck. Then, like, Assistant is a common anyways, that's a good recursion engine. These, like, you just want like 50% artifacts, that's your goal, and you can just fill like some of these, wait, they're all commons and uncommons anyways, easy peasy. Yeah, and then, like, you don't need the Teferi's protection. Broadback is pretty good when it works, but you also don't need it. The cards that you would then look to craft are your 1 mana interactive spells, just because it gives the deck something to do on turn 1. As you've seen in one of the games, Mana Tithe just comes in really nice on turn 1. You can also just go with Selfless Savior proactively on turn 1. Like, basically you want your 1-drops after all of that, and then you're pretty much done with the deck. Inventor's Fair, although this is a Paradox deck, the deck is really not that dependent on Inventor's Fair to find Paradox, because that's what our commander does anyways, right? So yeah, you don't need it. And Treasure Vault, it's kind of cool. Same with Blinkmoth Nexus, because there are 0 CMC artifacts, and that can really help you in matchups like Kinnan, because then you can go into Portable Hole, then exile the Kinnan, they play Kinnan again, and upgrade the Portable Hole into Glass Casket. Then they get Kinnan again, and then you get your Transmogrifying Wand out, killing Kinnan over and over and over, and like they just can't keep Kinnan on the board. But I mean, the matchmaking doesn't pair you against Kinnan anyways, so who am I even talking to, right? Anyways, I think I illustrated quite well what the deck wants to do, right? I'm not even sure if Fateful Absence is the card I would play in this deck. Like, I think you can for sure cut it, right? Yeah, like, you mostly want protection anyways, right? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow. Stay safe.